Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and today I wanted to bring to you a deck profile of my pure Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Since a lot of you guys ask me kind of what I'm playing recently, you guys tend to ask that a lot, and I was just playing this on stream the other day, so I thought, hey, what the hell, I'll just go ahead and share this with you guys, so you guys know what I've been playing recently. It's been such a fun deck, especially since Pot of Desires has come out, so I'll just go ahead and share it with you guys. So to start off, we have the 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Obviously, you're going to want this because it's the heart and soul of the deck. I mean, well, I guess second to the Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, which is essentially just Blue Eyes on crack, because just, this card is just fucking nuts. I mean, you pop cards, you get to recur it and pop more cards, like, it's just fucking crazy. It just basically is the starter and enabler for all of your plays. To couple that, we have 2 copies of Dragon Spirit of White. I'm playing 2 because I am playing Pot of Desires, and it's really important that you have 2 of this card, because if you banish 1 off Pot of Desires and you're only playing 1, it's actually really bad because you really just want to have 1 copy available, at least in your graveyard. It's just more ideal to have 1 copy in your grave and 1 in your deck so that you have the flexibility to get it from where you need to pop back row. And being able to get that search off of the White Stone of Ancients in the end phase and just popping back row is really, really important. So that's it for the big dragons. Next up, we have 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. Sage is just such an incredible starter and enabler card. You get to search your tuners. You can use it to basically change tuners into Blue Eyes cards. It does so much. It's a +1 on summon. Card is absolutely incredible. Paired with that, we have 3 copies of White Stone of Ancients. Again, another really incredible card. You're able to summon dragons in the end phase. You're able to recur your alternative dragons from your graveyard or anything that you need. The card is just fucking nuts, and especially because in my build I'm playing Phoenix Wing Windblast. Doing this in end phase on your opponent's turn, you can not only spin back a card, but you can special summon a Dragon Spirit of White and banish one of their back row as well. So that combination is just extremely potent. Then next up, we have a couple one-ofs here. We have 1 White Stone of Legend. You really only need 1 because once you use it once, that's really all that there is to it. You're usually just going to get the Blue Eyes that you need at that time in hand, and then from there, you don't really have to do a lot whole else other than that. It does suck because this card is mandatory, so if you do use it more than once, just be mindful that if you don't have any Blue Eyes in deck, you're going to have to show your opponent your deck to confirm that that is the case. Next up, 1 copy of Master with Eyes of Blue. Master is fucking insane. Like, it's basically Sage, but it does stuff from grave instead of from deck, but you can recur, like, alternative dragons with it, and you can use both of his effects in 1 turn. Like, this card does such crazy shenanigans. It's not worth running 3 of it by any means, but 1 or 2 of Master is just the nuts. And then 1 copy of Effect Veiler to couple with the Sage with Eyes of Blue. You pretty much search this if this is pretty much the card that you need in that instance. I'm only playing 1 because Effect Veiler isn't the best card right now. It's really good at stopping like a single play, but other than that, just kind of having the 1 is really all you need. And then to finally round out the monster count, we have 2 copies of Max C because we can only play 2 of it, and it's pretty much good against every single matchup aside from like Demise decks. But Demise decks aren't even the heaviest thing in the meta right now, so that's something you shouldn't need to worry about. Moving on to spells, we have 3 copies of Melody of the Awakening Dragon. This card basically just gets you to where you need to go. You get all your Blue Eyes, your alternative dragons. It's just fucking crazy. You're discarding cards. You can mitigate cost with it. So if you discard a stone or a White Stone of Ancients or a legend, it's just fucking crazy. This card is, there's no really need for explanation. 3 copies of the other broken card in this deck, Return of the Dragon Lords. The fact that this card isn't once per turn and it gives protection, oh my god, this card is just fucking nuts. Like, that card honestly can be banned for all I know because it's way too good. 3 Potted Desires. Now, I know a lot of you are kind of like back and forth on Potted Desires. I fucking love this card. It's basically Pot of Greed. Like, there's no better way to put it. Granted, in the late game, if you don't have enough cards in your deck, you can't activate it, but being able to just get you that extra +1 in a deck that doesn't really care about banishing cards, unless you banish, like, all 3 alternatives or all 3 vanilla Blue Eyes, like, it doesn't even matter. The deck is designed that you can banish 10 cards every single time, and you're really not only going to banish things that aren't really that important, but you're going to be able to keep playing and more than likely win the game if you resolve Pot of Desires, because it's just that strong of a card. If you notice, everything in this deck, aside from the Max C, because it's at 2, and the Dragon Spirit of White is actually either a 3 of or a 1 of, and that's intentional, because in that way, the 3-ofs are the cards you really want to make sure you never banish, and the 1-ofs, if you banish them, it's no big deal because they aren't like the end-all be-all of the deck. They're just really solid cards, but if you banish them, it's really no big deal. To continue with card drawing though, we do have 3 copies of Trade-In. Trade-In is just fucking crazy because it's just cycling your hand. It's really easy to get level 8s in your hand because you're playing 7, or excuse me, you're playing 8 in the deck, and then you can recur them with Whitestone of Ancients and just trade them out. It's really easy. It's just incredible cycling. Now for the 1-ofs, I'm actually going to get these out of here. We have 1 copy of Dragon Shrine. A lot of people are kind of on the fence with Dragon Shrine. I actually like it as a very good starter card. If you get Dragon Shrine, you can pitch your Whitestone and your Dragon Spirit of White and get your graveyard filled for Soul Charge plays. So it's a really good starter card. But later on in the mid to late game, Dragon Shrine kind of becomes more of a dead card. And it's fine because you can pitch it for a lot of your discard cards, or you can just, not even use it altogether. But that's why I only run 1 of it, because again, if I banish it off Pot of Desires, it's no big deal. But if I have it in my opening hand, more often than not, it's going to be a really good card to get me going. Next up, 1 copy of Silver's Cry. I choose to only play 1. If you want to play more, then by all means. It's a really solid card. Being able to bring back your Dragon Spirit of White to pop back row is really powerful. But yeah, like I said, I only choose to play 1 in this build. This would be the other card I would consider bumping up to 2, because it is a really good card. I've just never seen a need to bump it up to 2. I felt 1 is kind of where I like it. 1 copy of Soul Charge, basically the strongest card in your deck, because if you draw this, you basically should auto-win. If you guys watched on stream when I was playing, you know that's the case, because I got fucking savaged. 1 copy of Twin Twister. I like the Twin Twister for a couple reasons. A, it's another discard outlet for some other cards. B, it's good to just clear back row and just have the ability to go off knowing that you don't have to deal with any back row, essentially. With decks like PK Fire and stuff running around, and Pendulums, it's good to just kind of wipe their scales at the same time. And also, it's also good to have a card that makes it so I don't auto-lose to Vanity's Emptiness. Sure, I'm only running 1 of it, but if I have it in my deck and I'm running all this draw power, chances of me drawing it are pretty good, assuming I don't banish it, of course. But I like to just have that flexibility that I don't immediately auto-lose to Vanity's Emptiness. So, last but not least for the spells, 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, just because I like just drawing all the cards that I need. There's nothing really else I'd really want to play in that slot, apart from maybe the second Silver's Cry, as I said. So for the traps, we have 3 copies of Phoenix Wing Windblast. This card, as I mentioned earlier, is just crazy because the potential to just combo this with like Whitestone of Ancients in the end phase, getting a special summon of Dragon Spirit of White, and spinning a card back, you're essentially turning the clock 1 turn back for your opponent as well, because that card's going to the top of their deck. I like it for the flexibility too, that it is a chainable trap, so if they try to like pop it or do anything like that, you can just chain it and you really don't have to worry about anything else. And it's really good because it deals with really big problem cards like Beatrice, it just does so much. It's such a flexible card. I really love it at 3. One thing you could do is if you like Solemn Warning, you could cut one of these for a Solemn Warning. I was tinkering with that too, but I really just like the 3 Wing Blasts altogether. And last but not least, the 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness, because it's basically like a win condition in the mirror match. If you draw it, you should automatically win the game. And you can go ahead and lock out your opponent with Stardust Spark Dragon. So that's it for the main deck. It is 40 cards. Quickly moving on to the extra deck, we have 2 copies of Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. You don't need 3. 2 is the perfect number. You can recycle it with Whitestone of Ancients, which is really cool. And it's just it's honestly your go-to synchro for the most part. I'll just go ahead and put these up over here. 1 copy of Azure Eye Silver Dragon. Some people like to play 2 of this card as well. Personally, I only think 1 is necessary because really it's seldom that you need to go into the second, but there is some flexibility in the extra deck that you could swap out something else I'm playing for a second Azure Eyes if you feel it's that important. Next up, 1 copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon. I love this card for the potential to just go into a 2-card Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon without losing any advantage. If you guys saw me on stream, you guys saw that I did that both games, as a matter of fact. And I'll show you that combo at the end of the video just to show you how that goes. 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. This is just your target for Blue Eye Spirit Dragon to disrupt your opponent. Same thing with Stardust Spark. You know, Stardust Spark's really good for just locking out your Vanity's Emptiness, as well as other floodgates if you're siding those as well. And finally, one copy of Crystal Wing to round out the synchros, because it's basically what we use Ancient Fairy Dragon for, and a lot of decks have a lot of difficulty dealing with a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, especially in the mirror match. Moving on to the extra deck, we have one copy of I'll Say the Sylvan High Protector. This card's really cool because not only is it good to just kind of possibly draw something that you call off of its effect, but if you have the ability to send cards from deck to grade to trigger its shuffle effect, or rather its spin effect, kind of like Wing Blast, it can be a really, really strong card and just really help you out in a lot of different situations. One copy of Divine Dragon Knight Felgram. Felgrand's incredible against Burning Abyss if you've already dealt with their Beatrice, because it's really hard for them to deal with a Felgrand because, you know, they have Farfa, but you can kind of stop that. It's really, really kind of a pain in the ass, but Felgrand also just offers a lot of different protection as well. One copy of Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord Heliopolis. This is what you kind of go into before you Soul Charge and just pretty much shit on your opponent, because you can just nuke their whole board, then Soul Charge it all back and just make like Crystal Wing, Spirit Dragon, like just the nuts, like literally the nuts. He doesn't target too, so that's also really important to know. One copy of number 38, because we like to lock out spells and make sure our opponent can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! One copy of number 46, because we want to basically have a really strong card in the mirror match. A lot of people don't play around this card, and that's actually one of the hardest things to do in the mirror match. Dragulon can honestly just win you the game right out. Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon's really cool because if they leave up their Xyz monsters, you can take them, level them up into full armor Photon Dragon so they don't give them back, or even Dark Matter Dragon as well, because Dark Matter is just an absolutely insane card. Being able to dump your resources, 4k attack, can attack twice, it's just absolutely crazy. So that's going to do it for the deck profile here. What I'll do is I will just quickly show you the combo with Ancient Fairy Dragon. It's really simple. All it requires is the ability for you to summon a level 8 monster and a Sage with Eyes of Blue. So what you're going to do is, let's say we have a Blue Eyes in hand in this instance. You're going to summon Sage and then activate Sage's effect. You're going to go ahead and add yourself a White Stone of Ancients. You can also add Effect Veiler if you already have White Stone of Ancients in hand to make this combo even better. But for this instance, we're going to pretend like we don't have it. So then you're going to summon your alternative. You're going to reveal the Blue Eyes you already have in your hand. You're going to sync the two monsters, and you're going to go ahead and make Spirit Dragon. Nice and simple stuff. Go ahead and just keep this up right here. You're going to activate Spirit Dragon's effect, you're going to pop it, and you're going to summon the Ancient Fairy Dragon. Now, Fairy Dragon's effect is you can special summon another level 4 lower monster, so you're going to activate that effect to summon your stone that you searched off the Sage. And then you get to sync those two together, and guess what? You now have a Crystal Wing. So, really simple combo there, and then in the end phase, you're going to trigger the stone, and you're going to get to summon a Dragon Spirit of Light, or a Blue Eyes from your deck. So you didn't lose any advantage because it only cost you 2 cards and you got 2 cards. So it's a really, really solid combo. Again, like I said, if you can search the Effect Veiler, if you already have that in hand, if you already have the stone in hand, this combo just becomes even better. But that's just a very simple combo, which is why I like to play the Ancient Fairy Dragon. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the deck. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cimoooooooo!